It started like any other night, just me, my rig, and Hapunan. I was about 35 minutes in when a creeping unease settled over me. At first I ignored it, probably just the game messing with my head. Then, movement outside my window, a shadow, long, distorted, slithering across my yard like a corrupted game sprite, stretching and bending in ways that shouldn't be possible. The flickering streetlight made it worse, warping its shape, elongating it unnaturally. My breath caught. "Who is that? Who's out there? Did someone just break in?" I froze, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. The eerie silhouette burned into my mind. For a second, everything felt unreal, like my room wasn't my own anymore. When I finally ended the stream, the unease clung to me like a damp chill. My old headset crackled, low, distant, like rain tapping against a window. Then the static surged, and every monitor in my setup flickered at once, as if responding to it. I swallowed. This wasn't just faulty wiring, this felt personal. Then, just as I was about to take off the headset, a voice. Right outside my door. I stiffened, listening. It was the pizza guy, dropping my order onto the small table I kept outside. I always prepaid, so deliveries were usually quick and silent. But this time he was talking, low, nervous. "Been a huge fan for a while. Times are tough. Maybe you'd want to share some blessings?" My stomach twisted. Who the hell is he talking to? I yanked open the door. "What was that?" "I couldn't hear you clearly." The delivery guy stood frozen, his face drained of color. His lips parted slightly before he slowly, very slowly, turned his head to the right. His hand trembled as he lifted it, index finger pointing to something, or someone. "But you were standing right." His voice cracked. His whole body twitched like he was fighting the urge to scream. Then he ran, bolted, full sprint, like his life depended on it. I stood there, heart pounding against my ribs, cold air washing over me. What the hell just happened? After a long moment I exhaled, grabbed my pizzas and went inside. I tried to eat, but my mind wouldn't shut up. Had something followed me from Burger King the night before? That same eerie silence. That same feeling of being watched. I had bolted from that parking lot, just like he did now. Was I the next one to see something I wasn't supposed to? Determined to shake it off, I went to replace my headset. At the repair shop, the technician examined it for nearly 20 minutes. Then he looked up with a casual shrug. "No issues. Works perfectly." That should have reassured me. It didn't. I bought a new headset just to be safe. By the time I got home, the whole thing felt like a bad dream. I set up the new headset, tossed the old one onto my desk and prepared to stream again. But then the static, soft at first, then rising, like a whisper pressing against my ears. I froze. It wasn't coming from the new headset, it was coming from the old one. I hesitated before picking it up. The static deepened, twisting, stretching, until buried beneath the noise, I heard it. A voice, soft, feminine. The chant was slow, hypnotic. My throat went dry. My fingers trembled as I traced the chord, inch by inch, until I reached the plug. My stomach dropped. The headset wasn't plugged into anything. And yet, the voice continued. My breath hitched, the static warped, glitching, distorting, until the chant wasn't just a sound anymore. It was layered, like multiple voices stacked on top of each other, slightly out of sync. Some too high, others too deep. It wasn't human. The monitors flickered violently. Shadows shifted in ways that didn't make sense. For a second, just a second, I saw movement in my reflection. But I hadn't moved. Had my late-night horror sessions blurred the line between my game and my reality? Or had I, without realizing it, become part of something waiting on the other side of the screen? My room felt warped, the static pressed into my skull. And then, in the suffocating silence, I let out a bitter chuckle. Maybe I really was in too deep. As the static finally faded into the night, I muttered, "Now I'm left wondering, what's Hapunan? What's happening?"